Tuesday night twilight, and what a way to start the broadcast. We're a little bit delayed, but a hot shot up the middle from Tom McGarry to Landon Hernandez makes it a 1-2-3 inning. A strikeout to Jasper Clark, a ground out for Jacob Scott, and that line shot right back to the pitcher. Good evening, everybody. Eric Ballnar joined by Andrew Sperling and Spurlow. We're right here at Henley Grange Baseball Club, a Tuesday night clash between a team that is currently the Premiers versus the team that probably fancies themselves as a bit of a Premiership favourite.
They want to be the Premiers. Thanks for the invite, and it's great to be here. So yeah, we got the best seat in the house. Look at us, right propped up right behind the dish. Magnificent, and really looking forward to this game. This is two of the real heavyweights of South Australian baseball. West Torrens, current Premiers, finding their way a little against Henley, who have been right around the mark.
Yeah, if West Torrens are finding their way, Henley and Grange are well on their way. They're 9-1 coming into this game, and Landon Hernandez, who we just saw, well, you at home just saw him make that last out, a 1-2-3 inning. He's at a 1.08 ERA this year, 5-0. He's doing it with the bat. He's really sort of the key right now for this Henley and Grange team, isn't he?
Super freak. You know, that's all you can say. I mean, he could sit behind the dish and be the best catcher in the competition, but he swung himself onto the mound and he hasn't looked back, has he? It's just been fantastic.
West Torrens, meanwhile, they're taking the field. They're sitting in 4th place right now. They've got 4 wins, 3 losses, a couple draws, but those 2 draws and 2 of their 3 losses by just 2 runs that they were in the games late. They're starting to find their way, a big 11-0 win in their last time out versus Golden Grove. It's a lineup that's not quite ticking yet, but this is a Premiership team with pretty much all the pieces still there.
Totally, and I think you see the importance of a guy like Newinborn that played a lot for them last year. Many games. Big Berkey boy. And without Mitch, because he's been such a star for the Giants, that, you know, that's where he's spending his time. And you take that arm out of your lineup and all of a sudden it's pulled him back just a fraction. But Nathan van der Linden on the mound, just another champion, an all two-way guy. We'll see how he goes tonight.
Koki Yanazawa leads things off for the Rams. Yanazawa, Partington, Garbella, a dangerous 1-2-3 punch. And then they go to Hernandez, Bull, and Weber. Thanks, how you coming? And then some up-and-coming players, and like guys like Jet Clohessy and Lockie Burrows, Phil Acosta. Yanazawa punches one to center field. It's a lead-off single for Koki Yanazawa, who keeps ticking along, but a very dangerous Henley and Grange lineup.
Oh, very much so. Very much so. As you said, you really can't find a hole in it. I like the balance of it. They probably could have Lockie perhaps feel up a bit higher, but they need some stiffness down the bottom. So that's how they're lining up. And, yeah, no, terrific baseball team.
As Partington comes to the batter's box, he'll face Nate van der Linden on the mound. And he swings at the first pitch. It's off to left field.
Amigos.
Jack Partington wastes absolutely no time to launch another home run. The power's really become part of his game lately. That's his 3rd home run of the year, and it's 2-0 Rams.
Well, no doubt about Jack, and I know I've heard you talking about him, or a few guys. I think Watsy's been saying how he comes from a guy here that is here to produce that sort of offence, and goes in the ABL, has to restructure himself a little bit, realise where his strengths and weaknesses are, but he comes back here, second pitch, and 420 feet left field, see you later, 2-run bomb.
The power wasn't necessarily part of his game the last couple seasons. It was always get on base, steal a bunch, and now he's got that big bat speed that's obviously increased.
Well, I think that's probably has been part of the Giants, is it just repetition and plenty of swings and just building strength and stronger and better. And you're dead right. Wow, he's been a big improver because he's a class act in the outfield. He can run, so...
Speaking of power, this guy up to bat, Giovanni Garbella, 24 runs batted in, and we're 10 games into the season.
Yes, hitting right in that 3-hole best hitters spot, and there's Nathan's go-to, the change-up. He loves it. He sets you up and gets you with it, but Gio will make an adjustment on that.
Garbella played with the New York Boulders in the Frontier League this past season. And he'll poke one over towards right field. Charging onto it is Jasper Clark in center. He makes the play. Reese Launder in left field. Clark in center. Nico van der Linden in right. from left to right in the infield. Ryan Broom at third, Jacob Scott at short, Sam McGarry second, Mitch Neuenborn plays first base, Tom McGarry, the RBI machine, catching Nate Vanderlinden on the mound, but a crucial first out. But Henley and Grange, they've kind of started just like they finished versus West Torrens the last time they played, in a 15-6 trouncing, and Henley and Grange just wanting to keep that pressure on West Torrens.
Yeah, well, and especially, I mean, they know that they'd be preferring to face Nathan than they would Mitch, so they know it's a chance for them. They've got to bat well and get offensive, and a brilliant start for them. And as you said, Landon, Bull, Griffin, Weber to come. This is where sort of games can be made or break. If they can stretch a couple more out, get that 4 runs on the board, it's a strong chase.
Hernandez, hot shot, that just goes foul. He's been in South Australia for about 8 seasons now. He was a University of Hawaii alum, and now he's just part of a big South Australian baseball culture. He's worked at Baseball SA. He's been a high-ranking official at different clubs now, and Landon's done pretty much everything in South Australia.
Well, I think that's the aspect of him. You know, he's not only a magnificent baseballer, but he's just a magnificent human being. So, you know, he's hard to stop Landon, and I'm sure, you know, there'd be clubs that are lining up to try to get a hold of him. But he looks nicely established here, and I think he's into the police force, is he not? Or
he is. Yeah, really settled at Henley and Grange. He had 2 runner-up seasons as in the Caps medal vote before he finally knocked the door down and won it 2 seasons ago. And he takes a walk. Had a kind of an off season by his standards last year, and by off I mean he still had an ERA of around 3. He still hit around 300 and drove in a heap of runs. But it's just, you know, this year he's got that 108 ERA. He's hitting around 400. He is having a hell of a season.
You
again.
make life hard for yourself, don't you, when you're so good? I mean, because something under it is just not good enough. So, you know, and he'd know that. As I said, he's a true competitor. He's honest. He knows where he's at.
Liam Bull up to bat, young 20-year-old man who's started to find some game time in the ABL and made a difference in a few of those games for the Giants this season, and now is expected to be that middle-of-the-lineup guy and produce back in club ball.
Yeah. Just got to tip your hat to him, because, you know, Liam has always shown a great deal of promise, but you talk about stepping into the ABL, especially this season. It's just been fantastic to watch him. He made a couple of fantastic plays in Melbourne. Was it against Geelong?
In Geelong, yeah, versus Geelong Create.
You know, he hit his first bomb in a series there as well, so...
That was a 2-1 game. I mean, that was a solo shot, was the game-winning home run in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, no, I really dig him. He's just, again, he's sound. He's just a wonderful boy, and just so great to watch them progress and have some success.
Vanderlinden just was trying to find that top part of the plate just a little bit high in there for a ball. Vanderlinden's been around the mark too. He's been a key part of this West Torrens A-grade side for close to a decade now, and asked to do a whole heap of different roles.
You hear them talk about the 5 tools of baseball, and Nathan's got a few of them. So, you know, again, he can play multiple positions in the field. He pitches honestly and effectively. He can swing it from both sides, even though he's sort of gone back to one of them, I think, because he's got a preference for it, but he could still switch.
A starter, a reliever, an infielder, an outfielder.
What do you want? What do you want?
Bull just stays alive, knocks that one back foul. Liam Bull, a 1-club player. This is where he started his baseball journey as just a young kid, and I think it was last year he played his 300th club game for Henley and Grange already.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Shows great dedication, and why wouldn't he still want to be here? He came through a club that at the time was flying, a couple of Junior Club of the Year awards. He was right in amongst it. But again, he never gets ahead of himself. He always understands where he's at. And that's what I think I admire most about him.
And a patient at bat. He had to foul a few away, and after Jack Partington homered to put this game at a 2-0 scoreline, walks to Hernandez, walks to Bull. And now two powerful bats due up that will have a couple cracks at it. The first, Griff Weber, and then Jet Clohessy in the lineup.
Yeah, and Griff's this is his sort of scene, really. He's a clutch hitter. He's just solid. He's not looking for the fence. He can get it over if he has to, but he'll know that a line drive into centre right here will score one. So he'll stay within himself and do the job for his team, I'm sure.
Hitting .250, Griffin Weber this season. He has been sort of thrust into full-time catching duties with how much Landon Hernandez is catching, or playing first and pitching rather, and a big swing from Griffin Weber. But Basnoy leaving up to the Northern Territory, and they platooned last year, so now Griff Weber getting that opportunity in today versus former club, but getting an opportunity to full-time Div 1 catcher.
Oh, it's important. You know, Griff's a great story. Obviously from a strong family, the Webers, but you know, Griff missed out first year under 16s, deemed his arm wasn't strong enough, and did he sulk or sook? No, he went away and he just got better and stronger, and here he is now, a real solid player.
Grounded over to third. Broom steps on the bag, throw across. Did he step on it in time?
Yes, he did.
Wow. It wasn't exactly pretty, but it was the double play ball that West Torrens needed. As Ryan Broom stepped on third, and Mitch Neuenborn had to get a bit adventurous stepping on this. Look at this replay here, Spurls.
That was a good take there. That's what made this play, and he just knew he had to get it over. But look at Mitch's class. Look at that take. Just a little toe in there, and
absorbed some heat from Griffin Weber too at the end of the play. Look at that shot from the Spacequake camera crew.
That's a ripper, isn't it? Look at that. He still, I reckon he got it the first time, but he thought, you know what, I'll just in case. Well, that might have that hurt Griff. He's all right.
Well, we are at Henley Grange Baseball Club, and they've got a long list of supporters that make this club possible. They seem to have it every year, but top of the list is that ALH group, all those fun places to, especially at Christmas time. I reckon it'll be time to hit up a couple of those when the weather's getting good over
you betcha.
The Ramsgate Hotel and Henley Beach and the Lynx Hotel.
All in a nice little radius of them.
You know, I know that some people do those 12 pubs of Christmas. You can just nail 3 of them right there. So ALH Group and MC Sportswear, Grant McCarran, they've been sort of day dot sponsors here at Henley Grange. So a big thanks for them. They're bringing the broadcast down here. We'll talk about some other sponsors throughout the day, but so fantastic that they're able to come through and get one of the premier clashes of the first half of this this Hilltop Office Supplies Div 1 season rolling. It's so great that we can get a game broadcast.
Oh, so true. I just love what they're doing here, and I really dig that Space Quade have sort of got behind them, and because this is, you know, this is it. This is grassroots baseball right here. This is where all of the players come from. This is where it all sort of evolves from. So I'm really proud of the league, proud of the clubs and Spacequake to obviously support it and get behind them and give them some exposure, because, as you said, here's 2 of our best on display right here tonight.
This one of 6 games that's happening across the state today, but probably the one that most people would have circled on their calendars. Landon Hernandez, after a 1-2-3 inning, trots back on the mound, and it's a first pitch swing. Does it chop to the outfield? It does. Sam McGarry. Not a hard hit ball, but a ball hit exactly to the right spot to get the first base runner of the day for West Torrens.
Oh, most important, hey? Like, they got to find a couple of runs, they've got to chase hard, and so they do. And again, you just see the class of someone like Sam, who, another great story, didn't try to do too much, know they need base runners, so he plonks himself on with a single to left.
There's only 2 players in this West Torrens lineup that are hitting above 300 at the moment. They're hitting just over 230 as a team, and it's just unlike West Torrens, who last year they won the flag by just being annoying in the lineup, 1-9.
Offensive. They're powerful, and you know, it's got to say they still are quite a young team, and they went top last year, and that will give you a bit of a different preparation. You have an extra month just to rest and enjoy, and so here they are, and perhaps they're just showing those signs, but don't worry, when we're talking February, I think that we'll be talking West Torrens in the mix.
Well, all 3 of their losses have been versus the top 3 teams in the competition. Each one of the top 3 teams in the competition are the ones that have beat West Torrens. 2 of those losses just by 2 runs or less, and then 2 draws mixed in there too. So when they're not winning, you know, you could flip most of those games, and they
right
might be
around the mark, eh?
sitting 9-1.
Yep.
Last year, West Torrens had that little blip in February where they lost 3 of 4 games, including back-to-back, and then they switched on a little switch somewhere sitting there, and they said, yeah, it's time to go, and they rolled their way to a championship. Vanderlinden swings through a nice break from Landon Hernandez.
I had the pleasure of watching them. I think it might have been, was it the semi against Goodwood at West Torrens? It was a really good.
That was the first round game where they just, that was the first round game because they played the grand final against each other as a swing and a miss from Nathan Vanderlinden. And 2 strikeouts now for Landon Hernandez. Mitch Neuenborn comes to the plate, hitting .286 on the season. Normally a pitcher, but he got in that bat in a Giants game in the ABL, and the weekend he was a pinch runner. He didn't really have to do much. He could walk around the bases when Nick Ward launched him home in the game-tying home run. But Neuenborn, a 2-way player.
More than a 2-way, that's well hit.
Back over the head of Jack Partington in center field, and holding up at third is Sam McGarry. Mitch Neuenborn in with a double. Spurlow, that was very well hit.
Right to the base of the fence, Eric. That's where that one went. Mitch is just, again, we're talking about him and just, you know, talk about tools. Wow, this guy's got it all. And again, I just really dig how he's just rolled into West Torrens. He looks settled, he's happy, he mixes well with them. There's no air of arrogance about him. He's just a down-to-earther and a wonderful baseball player. So I'm sure they are licking their lips, the West Torrens Eagles, to have him on their staff.
Ryan Broom steps up to the place. He's been part of this West Torrens program. He's bouncing up and down between the 1s and 2s for a few years now, but this year he seems to really be getting that opportunity up in the A-grade side. He'll take a pitch and quickly behind 0-2. 2 runners in scoring position. West Torrens searching for production outside of McGarry and Neuenborn, who are up among the team leaders in average.
Yeah. Henley have brought the infield in a little, not entirely, but they're playing halfway. Corners are in fractionally. Pivots are also in a tad.
Potentially a momentum-changing moment. Henley Grange had a 2-run shot from Partington in the first, and then runners on first and third and 1 out. A double play ball turned by this man, Ryan Broom. Now he has a chance to do it with the bat. Up the middle, Hernandez holds the runner at third, and that was the key to that whole play.
You betcha. Yep, Landon knows exactly, and they were in a good position there because, with absolute respect, Sam's not the speedster, so it's going to have to be hit well in a gap or, you know, test the infield, but straight back to Landon, and the true pro just looked, checked, threw him out.
Great look at the replay there. You saw that first thing he did is head up at third, that little stutter, and it's in easy retirement. Liam Bull at third, Koki Yanazawa at second, at short, Lockie Burrows at second, and Jet Clohesi at first. Garbella, Partington, Acosta, left to right in the outfield. Griffin Weber is the one that just caught that first pitch strike from Landon Hernandez. Reese Launder fouls one away, and Hernandez doing a good job getting ahead and counts early.
Yeah, like all good pitchers, that's why ERA's down there, because he gets ahead. And statistically, you know, that just provides you just such huge opportunities to then be able to go to your armour, and he pumps one high up and out and taken by Launder.
What's kind of scary is this Henley team's got more power coming with Wilson Lee and another powerful bat and a guy that can pitch as well.
And especially perhaps at the time he's coming into, Eric, you know, not that arms are tired, but just to add another one and give you a bit of extra rest and give this guy, I mean, Landon's not getting any younger, I'm not sure, but he'd have to be, you know, early mid-30s, would he not? Or...
What a pitch from Landon Hernandez, his third strikeout. He gets himself into trouble by allowing a couple hits, especially that hard hit ball to Neuenborn. But look at this. on a string.
Beautiful pitch.
So West Torrens threaten, but they can't cash anybody in, and that will bring the bottom part of the lineup for Henley and Grange. Try to do some damage and expand the lead. Spurlow, lots going on though. It's getting to a busy time of year in South Australia. We've got some more midweek games than we probably would expect due to weather, and then there's a whole bunch of training happening right now because, well, when all the junior clubs break, a couple state teams going off to New South Wales in January.
Correct, and we've got the charter system firing up as well. So we've got the Armada going, and we've got the Young Rays, and in the Junior League and Senior League. So yeah, it's extremely busy time of the year for kids especially. And yeah, very much obviously with the Nationals for the 16s and 18s, and both jetting off on the 9th. There is a lot happening, and both teams training pretty hard and putting themselves in the best possible position they can to represent South Australia as best they can.
How often are they training right now?
16s are training a couple of times a week, so Monday, Wednesday. It's not easy to fit them in because I think we're seeing them getting, a lot of them are still in Divi 2, Divi 3 and some Divi 1 with young Zach Aldemura and Will Kuzner. So they're training a lot, and the 18s probably not as much, but it's a whole different ball game. They've got tons in high performance. They've got a couple away with the Australian under 18s at the moment in Davies and Paparella. So,
and amidst that whole system, you've got this guy up to bat, Jet Clohessy, young kid. This is his rookie season in terms of getting a full-time opportunity at the Division I Hilltop Office Supplies State League level.
Yeah, and he's rolling around for the Rays in Super League, so which is great experience for him as well.
What are you liking about Big Jet?
Oh, I love everything about Big Jet. He can, again, he jump behind the dish and do a fine job. He's got such a keen eye at the plate. You just wouldn't expect a big boy to perhaps such a keen eye, but Jet knows exactly where the strike zone is, and you rarely see him swing at a poor pitch. And he can jump into first base, he could jump over to third base, he could probably play in the outfield. And I'm really crediting the club for providing opportunities to Jet. I mean, what's the point in having a good junior system if there's no transition through to the A grade?
Vanderlinden deals Clohessy.
Change up.
Yeah, that Vanderlinden change up. Well, Clohessy's not going to be the first victim, and he won't be the last of that pitch from Nate Vanderlinden.
Sure won't.
That is sort of the key to his performance on the mound, isn't it? When that changeup is locating and setting up his secondary stuff, he makes it really challenging to hit at multiple levels here in Australia.
Oh, totally. And you'd probably know that Nathan's a change-up pitcher. So
and you still can't.
So you sit on it, and then he can still sneak a fastball by you. I think he locates it so well, and I got a fantastic story about Nathan and Nico when they first came to Australia, and they went to West Torrens, and Brett Ettridge, his young boy Joel, was playing there. That's a good pitch.
Lockie Burrows up to bat, takes one on the outside.
And there was rumours, and this guy's really good, and he was 12 or 11 maybe. And Brett said to him, oh, I hear you pitch, and yeah, I pitch, and so what do you got? And I got this one and that one and this one and that one and this one and that one. And he said, seriously, just worry about, perhaps a fastball and a curveball or something. But he did have them, and he has got the talent. He excelled at junior level here in the state.
And this dude loves his baseball. Finds the outside edge on the strikeout, and Lockie Burrows can't believe it, but Nate Vanderlinden has started off this inning getting Clohessy, and now Burrows down on strikes, and this same thing he's locating today, Mitch.
And that's what we said, like about Nathan. He was probably thinking change up then, but he rolls a curveball over and just gets the outside part of the plate. So Nathan's got a lot more tricks than just a change up. There's a beautiful fastball again, down, in, perfect location.
He's working quickly, Nate Vanderlinden. Gets the ball, wastes no time to deliver to Phil Acosta. And Acosta right over towards second. Picked up by Sam McGarry, and it's an easy 1-2-3 inning. So the second batter of the game, Jack Partington, launched a home run over towards the left field wall. And really since then, I mean, there's been a couple walks, but Van der Linden looks like he's found his rhythm a little bit.
Found a rhythm, and you know that Landon's in rhythm. So, and that's what it's going to just simply come down to with two really good line-up. Is just a few moments, a couple of moments we saw, I think, in the first. West Torrens had one and couldn't capitalise, and Jack did, and hence why they're leading 2-0. So I think it's just going to roll like that all the way tonight.
Few more sponsors to thank: Electric Results from Troy Smith, Westlegs Foodland, Chris Jansen, Harcourt Shepherd, Monica Furness, Bortec Adam Rowe, and Ben Crete by Ben, I can't even pronounce his last name. Horick. There we go. But no, what I love about this is these are all club people that are helping to chip in to make this club possible.
Isn't it awesome? And I see that you've got another 6 or 8 to mention as well. So
Charles
we haven't finished yet.
Yeah, Fulham Funerals and Damien Grant. West at Dwayne Erich. Have you been to West before?
No, I haven't. What is West?
Good spot down over on the water in Henley. Thorn Constructions at Nick Thorne. First things first coffee.
It's a good name.
Yeah, it is a good name. Prescriptive Therapy, Enzo's at Home, and Matt Fazzari. Baker's Delight, Ron Butler. Paint Supplies, Gary Johansson, and then Peak Machinery, MTCE.
Maintenance engineering,
maintenance engineering, Greg Peak. But all of those people, all of those names you see playing club baseball, women's having kids involved in it. I mean, it's not an easy thing running a baseball club. There's a lot of maintenance costs, getting, and everything on helping to get these programs rolling. And Henley have one of the bigger junior programs. They've got one of the bigger women's programs, and they've got teams in all divisions of the senior leagues as well. Henley, they're a bit busy.
Oh, and to run a baseball, just as you said, to put all of them on the park and provide coaches, provide equipment, provide sponsors. Nico van der Linden swings through maybe a slider from Lando.
Yeah, Hernandez on the mound. Van der Linden up to bat, the Nico variety, and over to you, Andrew Sperling.
Yeah. Nico, another one. Just been wonderful to watch his progression. A little bit different to Nathan. A little leaner and a bit taller. And, yeah, he roams around in the outfield, does a fantastic job, can hit, can throw a little bit too, but not quite at the moment for Nico. But, yeah, terrific.
Van der Linden's a fun bunch to talk to. They've all got that American twang, the American accent around there. All of them love to play anywhere around the diamond.
Yeah, exactly. And Dad Jack, that's a slow hit ball to second base, and Burrows tries to smother it to make an out, but it eludes him. So Nico on.
And I think this ball, we'll get a good look at it on the replay. I think it took sort of an awkward hop leaving the infield. Yeah, it just sort of short hopped him a little bit, and it ricocheted off the knee.
Yeah, you see it from that angle, and it was actually travelling faster than from here, what you actually thought. So you think, come on, Lockie, you should make that out. But seeing it side on, that it had its challenges.
It took a big spin almost at the edge of sort of where the umpire's standing right now.
Ball's popped up. Jack Partington cruises in and takes a routine pop fly at 8.
Landon doing a good job of that anytime there's been a base runner. You saw in the second inning, he had runners on first and second. Gets Broom to ground out slowly right back to him, and then the strikeout, inducing soft contact from a guy that used to be a catcher. So he knows how to call a game.
Totally. I think it's a great experience. I've sort of done it with a couple of boys, not perhaps through total preference, but by necessity, but it doesn't hurt for a pitcher to, get behind the dish and catch and learn about patterns and locations and timing of pitches, all sorts of things. So, yep, I'm sure Lando, all of that wealth of knowledge up in that great brain of his, and he uses every little ounce of it.
Jacob Scott, who's up to bat right now, another one that can be used in so many different situations in this West Torrens lineup. We've seen him deployed in the 8-9 hole. We've seen him as a leadoff. We've seen him in the middle.
Pitches.
He was sort of one of the anchors of a lot of those Rays charter teams going through the system. You would have had him a couple times.
I had him. Yep, I had him, and yep, great young man. Terrific baseballer. Again, just such sound in the mind. Typical product of his parents. You know, Andrew can hardly get him out of second gear or what you think, but... And he's a hard taskmaster, old Scotty, with Jacob. You know, you get nothing from him. You've got to earn it. Can't come off hitting a couple of bleeders and say, oh, I had a great day with the bat. No, you did not, buddy. You didn't square one up. So he gets honest feedback, and that's what I like about him. It's a brilliant pitch. Look at that.
And Jacob Scott's reaction sort of said it all to that. That wasn't an angry at himself that he didn't swing at it. It wasn't really a negative reaction. It was, oh man, I just got beat by a pretty good pitch inside.
Yeah, great slider. Just started at his kneecap and just drifted it across the inside part of the plate. I mean, there's not too many hitters that could hit that well.
What are you supposed to do with that?
No, I don't know what you're meant to do with it.
Tom McGarry has a runner on, and he's hitting .438 this year. I mean, the McGarry brothers are cruising with the bat right now.
Is that you that nicknamed him the Bash Brothers, or who?
The Bash Brothers.
But look at him, small in stature, stocky, came from a cricketing background initially, but taken to this game, and a fine catcher and a real slugger.
I mean, last year he ran away with the RBI title, driving in over 40 in the 30-odd games that he played. And most of them came in the second half.
I mean, that's a statistic that obviously from hitters is highly regarded, because it means you clutch and you get knocks when you have to. So, you know, again, Tom, you just got to love it. When I look through the lineup and look how young they are and how youthful, and predominantly what I really admire about them, it's outside, is that they are locals. You know, you can look at some lineups and think, wow, you got some boys from other clubs. And sure, Jasper came from Goodwood as a youngster. Mitch Newenborn from WA, but here to improve himself. Reese came from East Torrens. But all youngsters, it's a pop-up.
Well in foul territory.
Yeah. Nothing I admire more. Sturder a bit the same. Got a good bunch of locals in there. You know, added where they had to add, but not from here, there and everywhere. They're, you know, with the Macbeth and obviously Geordie McArdle is running. Oh, that was a nice try, but there's Jet just scooped it up and put him out.
Yeah, how's the hop up there from Jet Clohessy? Because that took another funny bounce. We saw one get Lockie Burrows earlier in the inning, and look at this again. Awkward bounce kind of off the edge of the dirt.
Yeah, you're saying that, you know, and a lot of people, Jet, oh, how
get the hand out there.
How unathletic is he? Hey, not unathletic.
Look at his hand, too. Yep, don't worry, guys. Yep.
I got you.
All good. Jet's a bit of a character, too, isn't he?
He's a terrific character, wonderful family. The Clohessys sort of stemmed his father from Central Districts. So both Chris and his brother played league footy for Central Districts back a long time ago, but again, highly athletic family. Mum was into softball because that's the Tomlinsons, Sue Tomlinson.
Oh, really?
Which is Jane's sister. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's the relation.
That is the relationship.
That's a big name to drop as well.
It is.
In Diamond Sports. Speaking of big names.
Oh, we got one of the biggest.
We do.
One of the biggest.
Dom Hodges. What's happening?
How you going, fellas?
We're doing very well. We're watching Lando go to work once again. It's something that you guys must be pretty used to around these parts.
Yeah, we are actually. Lando's having another breakout year, and I wouldn't be surprised at this stage if he's a front runner for the Cups medal. So
yeah, young kid finally figuring it out, Landon Hernandez.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Thing is, he's got more enthusiasm than ever before. He's on the training track. I think becoming a policeman, he's a lot fitter now. And he's probably realising he's only got a few more years left, so he's giving everything he's got.
Nate just rolls one in there, gets ahead immediately. Yeah, what a guy to have at your baseball club. And I know you knew that. And there's a base hit to Koki, second for the night. Single 8, single 9. But you need those guys at your baseball club. I mean, what a what a guy for all of the juniors here to look to and just be so impressed with just everything about him. Here's Pardo, bomb over left field, second pitch.
Yeah, unfortunately I missed that. I've been in the canteen for the first 3 digs making some hot dogs, so...
Life of a president.
He crushed it, like smacked. 420 over left field, up on the hill, still rolling.
See ya.
The Pardo power that's sort of developed this year.
Yeah. He's having a great year, and it's good to see he's finally been rewarded with a berth with the Giants. So.
Yeah, and we're talking about that, Dom, and you'd be a good guy to have a chat with, as he's got that off the fist a little bit, but that's not really mattering too much.
Woo. Second of the game for Jack Partington, and it is Partington 4, West Torrens nothing.
That's a good way of putting it, Eric. That's exactly what it is. And big Jack again seemed to get a little jammed on it. He got a little, not quite off the barrel, but does that matter? No, it doesn't. 2-run, second 2-run Jack to Jack.
You're right, that wasn't totally barreled.
No, sitting here, I just thought it was a pop-up to left field, to be honest with you.
But we know with all of these seaside clubs, always got that drift off the sea, always whether it's left field or right field, but no matter, most of them left field, and he's got it tonight. He's put it up in that windstream, and
Westlake's doctor, we call it.
So Giovanni Garbella's up to bat right now as Vanderlyn deals. How does a club go about? I mean, obviously there was no imports for a couple years when traditionally we'd bring people in from overseas. How does a club go about finding an import, especially one of a professional standard like Gio?
We're lucky, actually. We leave that all to our head coach, Russell Hart. He's obviously got a lot of contacts on social media and knows a lot of coaches around the place. So that's one of the things we totally leave to Russell, and he does a great job of it. And he's got Gio on board with us this year with the Rams, and he's been excellent for the club. I think he's up there leading the league with Lando actually for home runs at this stage. So
yeah, 5 each, but 24 ribbies for him.
There you go. So, and he plays infield, outfield, and he can also pitch a few digs too. So.
Although Pardo's now at 4 home runs this season, he's just lurking right behind because of his last 3 innings of work. So. Import Giovanni Garbella, does he just show up and only play Division 1, or is there a bit more to it?
No, that's basically it. He just rocks up and trains for Division 1 and
heads over to the Rammy.
That's exactly right. We've got him a job and a car, and hopefully he's enjoying Australia while he's at it. That's part of the deal with the imports.
Helps being in a good team, Dom.
Yeah, I think so. It's a long way to travel. On the other side, it's a totally unknown for these guys, so they come out on total trust with the president and the coach, and we promise it and give them our word that we're going to look after them. So I think you're right, Spurs. Playing in a top club certainly helps.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw Gio then just looking like he wanted to swipe that base, and it was a foul ball, but he pulled up anyway, but gave his hands a bit of a slap. I think he kicked himself for not going on with it then to try to steal second. So Van der Linden delivers again and gets it outside, and it's fouled.
We were chatting earlier about guys like Liam Bull, who started at Henley Grange and now is starring at Henley Grange in the ones. But he would have started, what, as a T-baller here?
Liam started as a T-baller, and yeah, he's just gone straight through state charter, and I think he played his first Division 1 game at 16. So.
Wow. Oh, I thought he got him.
Just missed, I think.
Trying to keep Giovanni Garbella honest. But T-ball program rolling again at Henley Grange?
Yeah, we're doing all right. It is hard work getting. The problem with baseball, of course, compared to football, soccer, basketball, is it hasn't got much of a profile in Australia.
Miranda's got a decent piece of that, but it's just going to hold up a tad, and nicely taken by Jasper Clark out at centre field.
So yeah, you know, back to the baseball, it hasn't got much of a profile, unfortunately. Even with the Giants doing so well and their 12-game streak the other day, I think if you walked around in most primary schools and talked about the Giants, 99% of them would say,
You're telling me. Yeah.
What's baseball? And but Liam's up now, and he's been a sensational player for our club. And
but equally as importantly, Dom, you know, what a wonderful human being. You know, he never gets ahead of himself.
No.
Completely understands where he's sitting with everything right at the moment. Comes back to his club just full steam ahead.
So what are clubs doing, like Henley and Grange, to try to find a few more kids? I see that you know there's 17 kids in the under 9s right now, which is a good start. You got almost 2 teams.
Yeah, with the Pee Wee League, so we got some great coaches down there.
How do you find them?
Well, we basically just got to, and that's just try to get into schools, try and advertise in newsletters, and hopefully we get 20 to 30 T-ballers out every season, and then we start building from that.
You know what I'm noticing with you, Dom, is we've got that generational thing happening again with the boys that played here, and now their kids are old enough to get involved. So you've got the Tainties, and it's another foul ball, but down the left field line this time.
Yeah, exactly right, Spurs. We've had the last 5, 6, 7 years, we've had a great bunch of juniors roll through, and realistically, when you look at that, a lot of them were that second generational sons of coming through, and we've got that happening again now if we look at our under.
Baseball's a funny one, right? Like, it's not hard. It's hard to get people to baseball. I've seen that at a few different levels. You've seen it at a few different levels. But the retention rate's there. Once people step in, it's hard to have a bad time, whether you're a player, a fan, or just getting involved in baseball. That really has been the challenge, is kicking that door down.
Yeah, I agree. And what a sport, you know, you get to hit, you get to throw, you get to run.
And look at the opportunities available to you as kids these days with the charter, and you know, your boy went through it. Geordie went through from T-ball here and into charter and then state, and great to see him getting some time here on the mound and in the field a little. It's what it's all about, Dom. We've talked about it many times, that just have to believe that you can transition into the senior club, the senior team of the club. Otherwise, you think, well, what's the point? You know, I've done all this work and I'm roadblocked. So, but not happening with a lot of the kids here, which is really pleasing to see, Dom. Gio's off. Gary has a shot at him, but he's going to miss it. That ball goes out to centre field. Clark doing a good centre fielder's job and backing up and supporting.
And that's a big stolen base. Garbella was looking and trying to find his time to go for the last couple batters. Finally gets that opportunity. And that was almost a closer play than it sort of looked at first on that great replay from Spacequake. But that's good recognition, knowing that he had Landon Hernandez at first and now Liam Bull, 2 of them are. And then Griffin Weber, you have 3 powerful bats in a row that can hit the ball hard and drive in a run and scoring position.
Well, crucial for them, because after again the 2-run bomb to Jack and then a walk, again that could have been a really big dig, but a fly 8 to Hernandez and a strikeout to Bull gives him 2 out and picks him up and allows him to still be there with a lot of confidence and freedom. He's a good little pitcher, and there's that change up again and gets Weber swinging over the top of it. 1-2. Dalton Osborne behind the dish as the chief umpire, and the unbelievably resilient Ronnie Keneally out in the middle, the granddad.
Yeah, Ronnie's been around for years. He used to, I think he still does a few plates now and then.
Got his big cushion, his
big mattress.
The big mattress. Can have a snooze if he gets a bit tired. That little hand comes over the top of the from Ronnie, one of the legends of our game.
Yeah, and I don't think there's many. I think we were just talking about it the other night. There's only about 24 umpires at the moment, so.
Woof. Just a tad high.
So yeah, getting guys like Ronnie a goal, they come around and they do 4, 5 games on the weekend, and they're just totally invaluable to the sport.
Yeah. Well, we've gone through the list of your sponsors here. It's up and in, and a walk to Weber. And to look and see 20 sponsors there, Dom, just must make your heart smile, buddy, just to see such wonderful support from a range of different businesses and all sorts of people. Small business, big business. ALH Group, who are just a powerful hoteliers. Yeah,
well, we're fortunate where Andrew Gunn was a state manager, and he played a few seasons of baseball here, so Gunny said he'd throw a few dollars our way, so they've probably been our major sponsor for the last 4 or 5 seasons. So make sure you get down to the Ramsgate and the Henley Hotel and the Links.
Okay.
When you want a meal or a chicken snitty, or look for the bottle-os at a BWS and drive through for your Christmas grog.
Won't get too many complaints from Eric or I. I think we like a pub, Eric. Oh, there's a good pitch.
Like a pub, like a schnitty.
Yeah, and then we've got MC Sports, Grant and Ros McCarran, who are life members of our club. So for all your baseball needs and uniforms, get down to Port Road there at Woodville.
Yep, gloves, bats, everything. Wonderful people. Gee, they've been around a long time, Dom, MC Sportswear, haven't they?
Have been. So, yeah, we'd be lost without our sponsors. I think we're worth about $25,000 a season, so it's absolute gold to clubs like us. We try to keep our fees at a minimum for both juniors and seniors, and reinvest it into infrastructure and uniforms, and keep playing costs at a minimum. So to have the sponsors that we've got, we're very fortunate.
And further to that, Dom, I'm sorry, Eric, I love your President's Club, and you know what that does, that it supports juniors that represent at charter and state. It provides a little kickback to the parents, which I think is just such a novel idea and just brilliant. Obviously don't agree with me, but...
I'm just waiting for Nathan to pitch, Bill. No, we've introduced the Vice President's Club probably 4 seasons ago, where we get old current members to... they basically donate $100 to the Vice President's Club. They get $100 worth of tickets with the credit union raffle.
Wow, that's a big pitch on the inside from Nate Vanderlinden, because they really couldn't afford to allow another run. So the 2-run shot from Jack Partington is, it's another difference maker that Pardo has made. But look at this, just cut back to that inside part of the plate. That's Clohessy for the second time.
So back to the Vice President's Club. Yeah, I think this season we've got about 70. So there's $7,000 that comes into our club, where we reinvest back in the juniors and T-ball program. We have a few functions during the year, and that plus your sponsors. We've got a great army of volunteers here at the Ram. So a lot of clubs these days are outsourcing their canteen and their kitchen and everything to others, because they simply haven't got the hands on deck to do it. So, but we prefer to hang in there. We have a roster system with our canteens, with our umpiring and everything. Our canteen probably raises about 25 grand a year for us. And then we do our meals on Saturday nights. So
what are these roast-offs that I've heard about?
Oh, we've had 2 now. We just had one last weekend where people basically volunteer to cook a Weber roast, and then we get judges on the night, and they come in and try. And
I saw it on social media the other day.
Yeah, so I think David Travascus won the first one about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
What did he make?
I think he did a roast pork with a nice crackling. So DT won the prize.
A roast off. Those are cool ideas. How do you come up with those?
I think just Rowena and David Travascus come up with a lot of ideas for us. They're absolutely gold to our baseball club. So we do bingo nights and quiz nights, and we do have a great social fundraising coordinator in Jess Burrows as well. This weekend we got our junior Christmas show Friday night and our senior Christmas show Saturday night. So we'll have the
When's Plucker back here, big guy? I saw you with Plucker duck or whatever you had, like many moons ago. You had that big night where Plucker was here, or someone dressed up as Plucker.
I don't remember that.
Oh, seriously, Tom, you were up on the stage next to him. It was. That was your talent night or something like that.
We've actually got our talent night this Saturday night.
Have you?
It's a senior Christmas show Saturday night, so we ask each team to come up with a skit on the night, and we give them, I think this year's $200 prize money, which they can put towards some cartons of beer. So,
what's Super Prez doing? What's Super Prez doing at the talent night this year?
Super Prez is Santa's little helper this year.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, what days they were, and not saying they haven't had some unbelievable days, but what a time in the life of the Henley Grange Baseball Club with such talent, with the Tainties and the Forbes and Hodges, White and Burrows. It just goes on and on.
Yeah,
Give me some other names.
Oh, God. They are.
Rowie here.
Where do you start?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a moment in time for a baseball club.
Yeah, I agree. And it was, I mean, I think every club was the same. If you the times are a lot different if you're looking back 10, 20 years ago.
Landon Hernandez now kind of humming along. That's his 5th strikeout of the game. He allowed those 2 hits in the second inning. It was a single to McGarry and a double to Neuenborn. But other than that, it's been cruisy, as it's been pretty much the whole season.
Exactly, and you get 4 runs for him early, which really peps him up and knows that he's got a bit of run support, and he can be a bit daring and maybe be a bit finer and spin that curveball a bit harder. That's all you need from the Caps medalist, is to really have a head of steam up. And
yeah, I think he shut out Southern Districts last Tuesday night, and he's hit 2 grand slams as well this year, so he just continues to, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we all know Landon's a class act. There's no denying. But just to, see him just so solid, and his pitching.
Well, he's now working.
There's a change up. It's popped. Bully flying after it.
He's now working in his 37th inning. He's walked 4 batters on the season. But what's impressive for me, when I was kind of looking at some stuff before the game, for Henley and Grange as a pitching staff, now 79 innings pitched. This is inning number 80, 11 walks.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of walks.
That's magnificent, isn't it?
It's 1 walk every 8 innings.
Yeah. Well, they say that 80% of walks score, so that tells a story in itself.
Yeah.
Those free bases. Pretty simple game, baseball, when it comes down to it. It's just all those little things that sometimes add little complications.
Yeah.
Vanderlinden battling away. But I love that too, because they're willing to challenge hitters. They're not going to walk them. If you're good enough, you'll get a hit, or put the ball into play, or get out by hitting a hard ground ball. But we're not going to give you a free pass. We're challenging you.
Yeah.
And that has to be the real goal of every pitching staff, really, because free passes are no good. As you said, just high statistic of runs scored when they get on. It's up and out.
Also helps when you we've been fortunate with the Rams this year, where we've scored a lot of runs, and we've always been up in a lot of games by a few, so the pitchers can challenge the hitters a lot more.
That's the Jet.
Got him.
Little knuckleball off the bat, but he's capable enough to grab it.
Well, what's crazy about this Henley and Grange season is only once have the Rams allowed more than 5 runs in a game. They allowed 5 runs versus West Torrens in a 16-5 win. That was kind of West Torrens coming back late. But just that one outlier in that game versus East Torrens. Other than that, it's all been lots of runs for, not a lot of runs against.
No, you're right. And that was a game Geordie Gray started for us. So
it was just a weird game.
They got him, didn't they?
They got him, and I said to Geordie afterwards, well, you're gonna have those games, and East Torrens came out blaring that day.
That was phenomenal, Don. 10 zip, I think they beat you?
Might have been a 10 zip, 11-1, something like that. So yeah, they were on ball that day.
Only loss of the year.
Only loss, yep.
Gee, I didn't think you were going that way, you know, like not that well. I'm super surprised. It's incredible.
Updates around the grounds. I'll try to trickle them in. Golden Grove leading Northern Districts 4-0 right now.
Yep.
In the Derby, AJ pitching.
Yeah, always hard to beat on a Tuesday night, AJ. Doesn't matter.
Goodwood and Glenelg locked 1-1 in the top of the 5th. That game at Goodwood. Goodwood only play one-run games that are all decided in the last inning, so not too surprising.
Yeah, they're finding their way a little bit. Obviously, Chaffee's joined them, so that's helping them.
Another one-loss team in Woodville, as Neuenborg works a walk. They are up 10-1 in the 4th inning. They are on the verge of a Tuesday night mercy rule. Drew Jensen has 2 home runs.
A real surprise packet at the moment, the Senators.
Jansen pitching as well. He's 2-hit Port Adelaide. So I think when you read those votes at the end of the year, it'll be D. Jansen. 3 votes, D. Jansen.
Well, there's a line drive up the middle. Nice hitting by Ryan Broom.
Well, now with 2 outs, big moment here. They're still looking for that bottom of the lineup protection. So Reese Lounder will have an opportunity. They do need to start getting one back as we're now into the 4th inning. It is about 7:10. The game started slightly late. I don't know, what times it get dark around here? What time can't you play past these days?
I'd say 8 o'clock.
Probably in a 2-hour game.
Yep.
8:10 maybe today?
Maybe.
Gonna have to be. He started a little late, just had a tiny little issue at second base with the sleeve, which was fixed. So, but we just got slightly started a tad late here. So let's hope light holds out. There's a little bit of cloud cover here, which isn't helping things, but so far so good. Lounder's been sneaky.
He's had a few big hits late in games as well, so you wouldn't count him out for one here to try to get the Eagles back in it.
Pop that high. Gio Garbella under it, takes it, and that's all she wrote for the Eagles.
Yeah, they've left 4 runners on base now, 5 runners on base in this game. Although Henley and Grange as well, they've left 4 runners on base. It's just Jack Partington that has accounted for all of the runs in this game. He's hit 2 bombs with the bottom of the lineup coming up. Now, Dom, when I walked in here, I had a very excited DT come and show me a few photos of what it seems like he's happy that he's subjecting himself to at the junior Christmas show on the weekend. What's this dunk tank that he's built for himself?
I think he got a bit bored during COVID. And he's knocked up this dunking machine, which is stored down in our hitting tunnels. So on any hot night, Friday night where our juniors train and our T-ballers are out here, he'll get out early and connect the hose up, and he'll sit in the dunking machine, and the kids will have a throw and try and dunk him. So it's been a lot of fun for the kids, and we'll have it out again this Friday night for the Christmas show.
So what does a typical junior program look like at Normal Baseball Club or Henley and Grange in general? You've got everything from what's the lowest, what's the highest level?
Well, we've obviously got our T-ballers that come out Friday nights. They come out 4:30 till 5:30. Have an hour of intro, running, throwing, base running, fielding.
Try to keep them focused for an hour.
Yeah, it's mainly about fun, you know, and just, they see all the other teams training. They see down the left field line, they'll see the Pee-wees training, so that's the next step up for them. And then into our Pee-wees are under 9s.
Lockie Burrows.
This year we've got the new age group, which is the under 10s. So we've got 1 team in there, and then we've got 2 under 13s and 2 under 15 teams. we have got a bit of a hole this year. We've got no under-17s, but we've had that many years of juniors coming through. It was eventually going to happen.
It's just so difficult. You know, Eric, you were expressing how difficult it is to get into schools, and it is. So you need some real drivers, and obviously you have Rowena that drove the juniors along here for many, many years, and obviously went and worked for the league and no longer working for the league. So she'll have her feelers out and moving again, and Van der Linden gets his second strike out of Burrows, both of them looking. That was a tad up and a tad out, but cold strike.
Fourth of the day. Those Henley and Grange kids are funny too. They were at the Giants game a couple weeks ago now, or
on the Friday night.
Yeah, on the Friday night. And look at this, just find its way back to the plate, or just the outside called at least. And Jackson, who does all the coordinating on the field, just comes back. He's like, oh my God, this team in the red, they knew everybody. They were yelling at all the players' names. They knew exactly what was going on. Like, they just knew absolutely, they knew more than me.
Yeah, we are.
10-year-olds wandering around.
Yeah, we got the big screen going in the club too, so whenever we can and there's a Giants game going, we tend to put it on the screen, so.
Yeah, they knew exactly what was up, those kids.
And the best thing too as well is this year we've got Liam, Geordie Gross and Pardo all part of the Giants, so it's raised a whole lot of awareness for our juniors when you've got 3 of your own in the squad, you know.
And all of them have had a moment at some time too.
Yeah. Pardo stuck with it, and Liam unfortunately was doing really well, and then Liam Spence came out, so.
Yep, there's a long way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I know everyone's getting excited about the ABL and certainly about the Giants, but as we know, once in December and into January, that the big league clubs make some decisions and often pull a few guys home, and all of a sudden, you know, sometimes your greatest dreams can be evaporated, you know, pretty quickly with the loss of a few players. But so there's still a lot to pan out and a lot to play for. And again, Liam's determination and rolling up every week with a good attitude and training hard, he'll give himself every opportunity.
He's taking some good at-bats in batting practice today. Koki Yanazawa up to bat now. He's got 2 hits in this game, and Koki has kind of quietly become one of the premier infielders. I think just that double clutch there from Tom McGarry allowed Phil Acosta to slide in there and put another runner in scoring position. But he's kind of quietly become one of the better infielders and even just consistent hitters in the competition from that left side.
Yeah, he works hard, Koki. He was, came out, went to Seton High School.
He had some impressive at-bats versus those 2 JUCO teams that were here a couple weeks ago. I know he won a couple of the player of the games in those games that the opposition awarded to the other team.
Yeah, he's very impressive. Again, a typical Japanese boy, you know, very quiet, and it got Tommy in the arm or hand, I think.
Yeah, and you can hear the smack on that too.
Yeah, he's a tough compadre, I tell you, like all catchers, but this one's just got him on bare flesh, and it's hurt him. I think it got him in the fingers by the looks of things, which isn't good. No, forearm right in the middle of the inside of the forearm.
Deflected off his left hand. Oh.
Yeah,
ouch.
I think I can see some seam marks from here.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's going to hurt.
I don't like watching that. That is... And you know, like, I mean, Tom's tough.
Yeah.
And they're going to make a change.
I think they have to, unfortunately, especially it's his throwing arm as well. He'll just have no power in his hand whatsoever. He's kicking the ground. He's in a fair bit of pain. Time for an ice pack and a bit of a sit, I think, for Tommy Boy. Get young Oscar Weber into it.
OJ. That sets up a little Weber showdown at the plate, though.
Yeah.
Sure does.
Well, we had our roast off on Saturday night, and the judges were actually the Webbers.
All of them? Really?
So we had the Webber family judging the Webbers.
That's amazing. That's really funny, actually.
How was Johnny? Grumpy or happy, or what was his point going here?
Johnny's all right.
Yeah, he's fantastic. How great here. Obviously both grandparents and mum here. See the both of the Webbers behind the dish, and Oscar sort of walked past me earlier and I grabbed him, and wow, he has really chunked it. Like not, you know, with strength and power. I'll never forget, you know, with the under-16 state team and watching him and Max and seeing OJ throwing, you know, 120, 140 feet on a line. No wonder he went away with the 16s, and there wasn't a great deal of running going on. He's looks like he's a little fresh, but been pulled off the bench. But just awesome to see them, and obviously Kins of Burke, who represented Australia at junior and senior level.
This is a big moment for him to come into, right? Like, it's, you got a runner on second, you've got one of the most consistent batters up to plate right now, then you have Jack Partington due up, who's hit 2 home runs in the game, and it's a 1-2 count. He didn't get pulled at the end of an at-bat. That was a ball that deflected off the glove onto his arm, and it's still 4-0 right now. So this game is gettable by West Torrens. They've tracked down bigger leads in hurries before, but it just starts to slip away if they allow a couple more runs.
Yeah, and you know what? You sort of also look, I think that's Phil out there at second, Dom. So Phil is the lead runner who can run a little.
It's just stole a base.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I know they'd be looking and know that OJ's a little underdone and not warm. So it'll be intriguing to see whether they want to test him out. It's nearly a perfect opportunity, you know, if he throws one wild and scores another one. It's I reckon they might take him on here.
I reckon? I think they might. Well, Koki's 2 for tonight, and Pardo's got 2 home runs, so I think they'll be happy with him in scoring position right here and hopefully get the base hit.
That's very true. Koki hangs in there and just does enough to stay alive. 1-2 count.
Henley Grange trying to keep pace with Woodville, who look like they're about to win today, and Sturt, who are up 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th.
Oh, well played. Very, very important. Jacob Scott sprawling up the middle and kept it with him, which saved a run there. Phil would have scored.
3 hits now for Koki Yanazawa. Every time he's got a hit, on the next pitch, it feels like Jack Partington has launched one to left field. Partington so far, he's 2 for 2 today. He's got 2 2-run shots.
Yeah, and Bone knows the exact situation that his team's in, and he's going to go out. He's going to make a pitching change.
Yeah, he's got
Scotty's coming in.
Got Vanderlinden twice today, so they're just trying to mix it up. Dom, good to see some people. I know, Spurla, you're quite involved, and you've been quite involved in the charter program as well. But now we got Adam Rowe. Did I see great Henley and Grange guy?
Adam Rowe, and
that's is that Little League?
That's Little League, and I think David Forbes might be his assistant. So yeah, it's good to see.
That's cool.
Couple of coaches from the club, and that's what you want. You know, you want them to go to that next level as well. That next bit of experience, and that leads to state coaching as well. So it's only going to bring back more knowledge to your baseball club and to your junior program. So well done to those guys.
Fantastic. That's what charter program is about. It's not only about development of juniors, but it's also about development of coaches. It's a wonderful forum for them to go into, and by no means is it less impactful or less pressure. It's game on in charter, so you learn quickly.
Yep. And I think it opens your eyes up, you know. We're just stuck in this little world of baseball SA, and you think you might be doing all right, but then when you go to some of these tournaments, like I know the Little League Charter, where there's 20 other teams competing, and you look at the levels and the skills of some of these other kids around the country, it really can be a wake-up call.
Yeah. It's doing its job, though, because obviously in the olden days had state teams in 14s, 16s, 18s, but they eliminated the 14s and they introduced charter. So now charter has taken the place of, and it's a wonderful stepping stone, 13s, 15s into the 16 state team. So I think it's really a great idea. I like it. I know there's been a lot of conjecture about it. It's obviously changed age groups, Dom.
Yeah, I think the biggest impact's been the change to the age matrix at club level, where you get guys playing. You might get a guy traditionally was under 15s, now playing under 18s.
Correct. It's a good block by OJ, but Koki's got some good wheels.
Yeah, and runner was always going to go, and I don't think OJ was ever going to throw that ball. I think it was always going to be runners in scoring position, but huge moment right here, sitting on 2 home runs. He's faced 4 pitches so far, 3 before this, and 2 of them have ended up over the left field wall. 1 was smashed, 1 just squeaked over, but they don't ask how far, they just say, let's take a look at the box score.
Exactly, and they'll probably opt to walk him here, you'd sort of suggest.
I don't think they will, with Gio and Lando to follow. So.
Yeah, no, so true, but he gets jammed inside, and Scotty gets it done.
That could have been a tricky play. It was kind of lucky that that ball goes in that one spot, because Pardo can fly down the line, so just check the runner at third. Didn't have to travel too far. Could take it easy. And the guy that couldn't get out finally does get out. And now there's 2 down. But the leading RBI man, 24 of them so far this season, comes to the plate in the American from New York, Giovanni Garbella.
Bit of Italian heritage, Dom.
He's actually he's Italian-American. He's from San Diego. I think he played baseball in New York, but the family resides in San Diego. Dad and Mum migrated to the States years ago, and he's actually played. I think
in Italy. Yeah, he did.
Him and his older brother have played maybe 3 or 4 seasons back in Italy. So
it was cool to see he was out at the ballpark this last weekend at West Beach. He has 2 teammates of the New York Boulders that were playing for the Canberra Cavalry. So he was out supporting them, and then he was watching his teammates at Henley and Grange play for the Giants. It was a
and I think he might have played with Quincy Lattimore as well, or Quincy might have got him a gig in the Frontier League back in the States. There's some sort of connection there too. So
yeah, and played against Miguel Cienfuegos and Nick Ward.
Might be just a tad short, but it's going to score some runs. So minimum double into left field. Gio Garbella chalk another couple up on that RBI list there.
Yeah, 24 RBIs just wasn't enough. He just had to squeak it above the 25 mark. That is an outrageous pace. It's going to be tough. Like, I mean, you'd think that this guy coming to the plate is going to pull a heck of a lot of votes from his early season performance. He's got a couple games with some home runs. His numbers pitching are always amazing. But then you have games where, you know, Jack Partington has 2 home runs in the game. So even if Landon Hernandez hits a home run right here and he hasn't allowed a run while pitching, it's like, who do you give the 3? It's one of those problems where you just get victimized by your own teammates. Good problem to have, though.
Oh, exactly, and that's why, you know, even managers at this league get tested, because, as we said there, you know, they've got such strong bats that you intentionally walk one, but you got 2 more to face, so it doesn't get any easier. So Scotty, who inherited those runs, and misses up.
This has just been really impressive from Henley and Grange. They've played some good defense. Their pitching has been excellent with Landon Hernandez. They've now scored 2 runs in 3 different innings. They've outscored West Torrens now 21-5 on the season.
Yeah. And especially being a couple of seaside clubs, as that ball eludes Webber, and Garbella scurries his way around third, looking, there was no cover at the plate from Scotty, but it was ambitious thinking. So 6-0, Henley and Grange's way. Garbella on third, 2 out. Caps medalist Hernandez in the box, and Scotty pumps one down the middle. First strike. 2-1 count.
And Webber's got to be careful here, because any ball that slips away, backstop's not huge here. You can see us on the stream. That's a good pitch from Jacob Scott. But anything that slips away very well could cash in another run to make it 7.
Yeah, and it just keeps getting further and further away from you. So the Eagles will be looking to get him out. That pitch was in. Got great hands, Hernandez.
Everyone's getting smacked by a baseball today.
That's the Lounders down the line there. Deb and Phil, you'd be able to tell us some stories about Big Phil Lounder, because he was a terrific baseballer, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a bit older than me, so I heard great things about him, but I've never really played against him.
And their brother Richard, who played league footy for Richmond. What a family. But he strikes Hernandez out, and that's a big punch out for the Eagles. But Henley and Grange lead this 6-0 as we move into the 5th.
So Dom, back to the sponsors that have helped this out. We have that big list of folks in here. I mean, we've talked a lot about you know, the ALH group, and Ramsgate, Henley Beach Hotel, and Lynx in particular, MC Sportswear. But when it comes down to that next level below, you obviously have your principal sponsors, but there is a whole list of people. Did you want to run through some of the ones?
Actually, we got Foodland Westlake Shores, probably been 10-year sponsors, where they give us $2,000 a year, which we obviously support them through the canteen with all of our the product we buy.
Community relationship.
Exactly right.
Chris Jansen,
he was president for 5 years. I think he started there as a trolley boy or a night filler.
Like Geordie.
Many years ago.
I went in there the other day and spell, and I look around and there's the big Jord working there.
He probably wasn't working. He might have been there. But yeah, we've got Bortec, Adam Rowe, Fulham Funerals, courtesy of the Grant family, West, Thorn Construction, First Things First Coffee on Port Road. They're a great little coffee drive-through. If you work in the city, head up Port Road and swing in for a coffee and a toasty in the morning. Gary Johansson and Paint Supplies. If you're painting your house over the Christmas holidays, head over to the top of West Lakes Boulevard and buy yourself some paint. Prescriptive Therapy. We've got Nick Kluzak, who he's at West Lake Shore, and he works from home, and he was a Crows physio, I believe, for 10 seasons, so he knows what he's doing. So Prescriptive Therapy. Enzo's at home.
There soon, I would imagine.
What's that?
Prescriptive Therapy. You'll be heading there soon?
No, I'm fit as a melly bull, mate. I don't need any of that stuff yet. And Baker's Delight at West Lakes. We last season I think we sold 3,000 hot dogs over 6 months. So they give us some hot dog rolls at a good price. So head into West Lakes Shore.
It's a big turnover in the canteen.
It's huge, you know. It is. It takes a lot of manpower, but at the end of the day, when you put $20,000 to $25,000 back in your pocket at the end of the season, it's all worthwhile.
And all those sponsors and all those little things like running the canteen, it has that nice little trickle-down effect. Like we talked, a couple innings ago about, I mean, baseball's one of a lot of sports out there. It's not the main culture sport here in Australia. At home, it's you don't even need to advertise. It's like footy. It's like, yeah, here's a baseball diamond. People know where to go. But anything you can do to keep those costs down, all of that helps. You certainly don't want people using cost as an excuse not to play.
Yep. Yonazawa comes in behind Bull at third base and takes a pop fly from Van der Linden. Nico, 1 out.
No, exactly right. And that's why, we work hard to raise money via the canteen, the sponsors, the Vice President's Club, and all that it's reinvested back into our club to keep costs at a minimum. Because you know, with the rising cost of living right now, we don't want people not playing the game because they can't afford to. So you know, we gave the women's teams new uniforms a couple of years ago.
It's brilliant stuff, and even such as like the ground, Dom, that you share here with Smosh Wet Slates Footy Club, that it takes a fair old beating over winter, this ground. So it's not easy to come in and quickly transition it into a baseball field, you know, because a baseball field is played on the ground. To have such, you know, a beautiful infield, it's not easy. So again, there's all your workers and your...
Exactly. I mean, we're very fortunate again that we've got probably 5 retired club members that probably spend 2 or 3 days a week down here maintaining the diamond, and Paul Roxby, Jim Burke, Wayne Rowe, David Travascus, Andrew Dolman. And keep in mind, it's not only this diamond, we've got the diamond out the back as well. So
yeah, invaluable. It's what volunteers, and that's in. So that's down the left field line, looking for a double here. Jasper, he thought about it, he stopped, he ended up starting himself up again, and he gets a double.
Well, it should. Well, Jacob Scott's coming up to bat, but that means that we could have a nice little Weber action here crowding the plate in a couple batters' time. It's really now or never right now for West Torrens. Down, well, a big chunk of runs, down 6 runs. 2 2-run shots from Jack Partington, and then the 2 RBI double from Giovanni Garbella. Landon Hernandez has allowed just the 4 hits today. That was the 4th one that he's given up. Walked 1.
Yeah, and it becomes a very difficult time of the night with that sun.
he's out. He missed first base. Jasper must have missed first base. Ron Keneally's called him out.
Wow. I don't know if our replays go back that far, to be honest, from our little time coding, but that'd be a good one to see if Jasper Clark, when he was rounding first base, did he touch it? We might have it. Does producer Brandon have it? Look at this.
He's a very talented individual, Brandon. So.
He is. He's good. Well, it's on that base hit that just goes down the line in one of the pitches later.
Here we go.
Yep. Oh, my goodness. I think that's maybe why he held up. Chopped right to center field.
He did do a bit of a, once he turned the base there, he did do a bit of a goose step, so I'm thinking...
He knew it too.
He knew it, and he's...
Let's see, this is fascinating. This is the shot.
Gee, it'd be surprising of a boy. Oh.
Yeah, you can see the dust kick up right in front of the bag.
Still, you only got to touch a little skerrick of it. That's a big call.
I think you do. Like, I think that the big tell there was when he was like, I mean, Spurlow, you called it, right? It was like, you were like, it's going to be a double, and then he was like, oh, he's going to think twice about the.
Well, I thought it was a double straight off the bat. So for him not to, for him to do that goose step, I think he's realised, oops,
Didn't touch it. I've got to sell it, and I can't sell it. It's all over.
And I've got Ron Keneally, who's umpired 3,000 games of baseball. I'm not going to get it past him.
Wow. Well, I mean, that just kind of sums it up. West Torrens, they've left a couple runners on base. They had that big moment back in the first or second inning. They had runners on the corners and only one out with Broom and Launder coming up to bat. And Landon Hernandez got the ground out to the pitcher and the strikeout. He's allowed now the 4 hits. They've been quick, smart. Henley and Grange, they're a well-oiled machine. Dom, thanks for joining us on the broadcast today. What else going on at Henley and Grange that we should know about?
Oh, no, we're just, we're powering on. We've got, I couldn't be happier the way things are going. We've got 7 or 8 senior teams this year. We've got our 2 women's teams in Division 2 and 3, currently 1st and 2nd.
They decided to move one up. It was 2 Division 3 teams last year, right?
We had 2 Div 3, 1 Div 2, but we had a few, the girls don't really want to go out and play Div 1. They're not quite ready yet. And then we had a few decide to step down and not play. So we're happy with the 2 teams, one in Division 2, one in Division 3. So our focus over the next couple of years is going to be with the junior program. We've got a bit of work to do there, but and we know that if we focus on that area, the club's going to be in good shape in the next few years. So.
Liam Bull swings and misses to start the fifth.
And what about Dominic Hodges's term in the office? How are you feeling? And you still got the energy?
Well, it's my 6th year as president. I'm up for re-election next season. So,
well, that'll go probably without doubt, but you're putting your hand up. You got the energy to keep on rolling for them.
We'll see where we end up. I'll reassess things at the end of the season and see if they want me back. Sometimes it's good to have some new blood in the position, some new ideas.
So true, Dom, but you'll be around the place. It's just...
I don't think I'm going anywhere, mate. I love the Rams. I love baseball. So whatever happens, I'll still be down here at full force, helping them to be the #1 club in South Australia.
Brilliant job, buddy. And I know that you know, obviously got your son here, Geordie, playing, but you've got your daughter, Chloe, in the States at college in basketball, and Coco's been kicking some goals at district basketball.
Yeah, so Chloe's...
What a sporting family, Dominic Hodges.
They're all take after their mother.
Oh, it's wonderful stuff, mate.
Well,
this is what you know, Clubland is all about, with volunteers like yourself, quality volunteers, and such a wonderful man. You're an absolute legend, Dom.
Why did you decide to put your hand up to be the president of a club? That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Chris Jansen did it for 5 years, and I had a beer with him one night down here, and he said, "Dom, I just can't keep going. I'm working 80 hours a week."
And he said, "I'm going to do one more than you."
And I said, "Well, if I do it, I'm going to do more than 5." So, but you know, I'm down here a lot. As I love baseball, I love the Rams, and you know, felt I had something to offer at the time. And 6 years later, I'm still here. So, I'm really, I couldn't have done it without, you know, as I said, I'm just really blessed. I've got a great committee. We've just got a great membership here at the Rams, where it's my 6 years president. I don't even have a key to the baseball club. wouldn't even know how to open the canteen. So, you know, like
You do your job to guide the ship and
guide the ship.
Make some big decisions.
Yeah, it just certainly helps when you've got 5 guys doing the grounds, and people running the canteen, and people running the social, and people doing sponsorship. So I just feel I'm really blessed as president. There's no way I could have done it on my own. I probably would have lasted 1 season, like a lot of other presidents do. You know what I mean? And that's why they do 2 years. But
and what a wonderful little story, Dom, because I mean the club was on its knees, you know, 10 or 12 years ago, but enormous emphasis on your junior development. It just all fell into place. You've just had such wonderful success with juniors, back-to-back Club of the Year, I think, or certainly at least one Junior Club of the Year award, and here they are now transgressing into the A grade. Here's one of the young proteges here in Jet Clohessy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's all about. So now you recognise that probably through no fault of the clubs, that the junior system just had a little hiatus there just for a year or two, and now you see that your emphasis needs to go back there, so you're going to begin it all over again.
Yeah, and it is great. It's, you know, you put in those years at T-ball and with the juniors, and you encourage them to all play state and charter, and with the goal of one day playing Division 1. So, you know, you see Liam out there right now, you see Jet Clohessy at the plate, you know, there's Lucas Pennell, my son Geordie, Luke Travascus, you know, all getting good Division 1 time this season. So
yeah, and the B grade went top.
B grade won the flag last year.
Under 19s won.
Under 19s. So you know, we don't have an under 19s team this year because a lot of our under 19s are playing Division 1 and Division 2, and as president, that's where I want them playing.
Yeah, and I know, and it, you know, it doesn't help. There's a double play opportunity, beautifully turned and magnificently received at first base by James Henty.
So those 2 walks have now put 7 walks on the day that West Torrens have thrown. That is more walks than Landon Hernandez has thrown all season.
There you go, and it comes back to that, what I said before, 80% of walks are going to score. So
and you take a little bit that I know it you know, it might seem like a bit of pill, but a young boy like Luca Ankeny, who was obviously at the club and moved to Port just because of that thing that there was no under-17s team for him here, so he went, but he's made the under-16 state side, so we're in a big shape and form that the club has assisted Luca to get where he is at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we sat down with Luca and his family and said, well, mate, if, you know, he really wanted to play under-17s this season, but you know, at the end of the day, you're better off doing that and keeping a guy in the sport. And, you know, if things change down the track and he wants to come back, the doors are always open. But at the end of the day, we want as many people playing baseball as possible. So there's no way we're going to field an under-17s team this year. So we had to let him go, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, it's been a real pleasure with you, Dom. We'll go and let you do some presidential duties and watch the end of this game where your team's leading at 6-0 and again, one of the young presidents in the South Australian Baseball League. So, real pleasure, Dominic Hodges. Thanks you very much.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks for coming down tonight and doing the Spacequake telecast. Appreciate it.
Always a blast, Dom Hodges.
As Burrow swings over one and strikes out. So we leave it here at 6-0, Henley and Grange's way.
Yeah, and here's some around the grounds updates for you. Golden Grove Central Districts lead Northern Districts 4-0. That game now into the 5th inning. Adelaide leading East Torrens in the 5th by a score of 7-1. So that could be a big one for Adelaide, who are trying to hunt down a few teams in the pack. Glenelg and Goodwood are tied at 1 in the top of the 7th, but Goodwood don't start playing until the last inning anyways. Sturt up 4-0 over Southern Districts, and Woodville lead Port Adelaide by a score of 10-3. Of course, in this game, it is Henley and Grange well and truly in control right now. But yeah, that Adelaide win, they're coming in here sitting with a 2-1-5 record, 2 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw. East Torrens sitting up in 5th with 5 wins. That just starts to close the gap just a little bit. It gets Adelaide within 4 points of that last final spot if they can win the game today. That's where East Torrens are sitting in that 6th spot with 11 points. So Adelaide could get to 7 points on the season, which means between 6th and 10th, there would be 4 points.
Yeah, and it's exactly what we want in our competition, right, Eric? We want, you know, we don't want at the halfway mark that it's nearly a foregone conclusion as to how this season's going to pan out.
Well, West Torrens only have 10 points, remember, so they're sitting right in that mix as well, in that big cluster of teams. They've got 4 wins, 3 losses, and 2 draws entering this game. There's just a whole heap of teams that are sitting around those points marks.
That's how we like it, and we got some real surprise packets, obviously, as you said, with Woodville, who have, you know, been incredible, and East Torrens have picked themselves up a little bit to be competing. A very, very young club, East Torrens, so making great progress. Got a wonderful import pitcher, left-hander. I had the pleasure of watching him in his first outing in Australia. And
Alex Lemon, oh man, is he ever good.
And what a professional, Eric. His warm-up, it was just an absolute pleasure to watch. He came out and just dealt it, as he has been doing to a lot of teams. And
so right now, as I'm just doing some very quick math here, yeah, right now the 6th spot is actually held by West Torrens with 10 points. Now they've played less games. Adelaide, let's say they win, let's say they hold on to that game today, just for the sake of this argument. That means that the 6th spot and the 12th spot are separated by 4 points.
Yeah.
6th and 12th.
Yeah, awesome. And as we know, it generally, it really fires up after Christmas. Can get some teams that sort of come out the blocks and really fire away and get some early wins and look fantastic. But as it all balances itself up and we push into late January into February, the stakes really rise, and it's just wonderful to see that there's so many teams in contention.
Oscar Weber strikes out. He was standing right next to his brother Griff, who was catching. That brings to plate Sam McGarry. He's got a single already in this game. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a chaotic, I think, second half of the season. a lot of these teams are using some of those players that are on those, especially that under 18 state team, all seem to be meaningful contributors on the Division I side. So in January, clubs have to contend. Some clubs will have to contend with players not being available because of the Giants. Some clubs will have to contend with some of their players not being available for a couple weeks because of the under 18, as it's hit from Sam McGarry and a diving play from Koki Yanazawa. Couldn't bring it in. So it's going to be a real test of the depth of the club. Some of those players on the twos are really going to have to step up and fill some meaningful game time come January.
Yeah. Yep. It doesn't matter what you talk about. You can say that this is a, a very individual type sport, but depth really counts, and it is going to count once again. And as you said, especially through January, where a lot of the juniors are away with the nationals and they come back a little exhausted because it's quite pressing. So I think that's what we love about it, Eric. It really opens it up and provides opportunities for clubs to sneak some wins and get themselves in contention or keep themselves in contention.
In January, February, it's every week. It's Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. Mix in some weather chaos, which I'm sure you kind of have to expect in a year like this, as a good pitch from Landon Hernandez breaks and gets Nate Vanderlinden chasing. 6 strikeouts today for Landon Hernandez, just the 1 walk, 4 hits. He's into the 6th inning of work.
Oh, great change up. And
come on. 7 strikeouts for Landon Hernandez.
Yeah, with the variety of pitches, Eric, there's a change up to get Nathan. We've seen him with a lovely slider. We've seen him with a powerful, well-located fastball. So again, you're not sitting on something in particular with Landon. You need to be on your toes, expecting anything. So the Eagles have made a few changes. Henty's come into the game and gone to first base.
That's who's up to bat now.
And I'm wondering, obviously, Newborn was there. You'd expect Mitch to still be in the game. Sorry, we got a little distracted there with Dom in our combo, so we'll try to tidy up and clean up and tell you exactly who, where, how and what.
Look at a team like Henley and Grange, who've been knocking on the door of a championship for a little bit. They made a couple preliminary finals. It all comes down to pitching in the finals, and it's a similar group to what they had last year, but Landon just seems that next level above. Finds the plate for the strike. Then you have Jordy Gross, Wilson Lee still to come in, but the big difference there could be pitcher number 4, which always seems to play a key part in finals, and Jordy Hodges developing quite nicely. He's got 11 strikeouts in 7 innings, and Landon Hernandez has 8 strikeouts in 6 innings to strike out the side and keep bringing it on to West Torrens in a 6-0 lead, and he's got his son running onto him. That's a great shot running off the diamond.
Isn't that what it's all about? I mean, only in local competitions do you see something like that, like Landon's still in the game, but Mason was
runs out
that
there.
excited. He knows his dad's absolutely on fire, and I've got to give him a hug. I got to get out there for Dad.
But perhaps that development of a guy like Jordy Hodges might be that little difference that Henley and Grange could need coming into the finals.
Well, it's a good point you make, Eric, because, once again, we go into a 3-game series in finals, and let's just say that you might use 2 to 3 pitches a game. Well, that in simple mathematics is 6 to 9 pitches that you're going to need. So,
and then the question for West Torrens is that, they've always had a few different pitchers, and they're using another one right now coming into the game.
Snelly.
Yep.
James Snellgrove.
And he's been used in some finals runs in the past, but will West Torrens bring over an import? That's the question.
Yeah,
that's the question. That's the rumor mill going on. What do they do about filling in an import gap? Because they're one of the only teams that didn't have one, and I don't mind that strategy because you knew West Torrens had the talent that they were going to be in the finals mix. We're in a final spot near Christmas. You can still bring one over. Why not just evaluate, see what you need, what's the gap, and then bring it over an import based on a need, not on a what if.
Quite true, Eric, and we sort of touted it before in that little rumour that's running around that Quincy might stay in town and join them, so he would have to be an import.
Yeah, and I honestly don't. I don't know anything, to be totally honest. But you'd think though that if you're a club, you'd be looking right at guys that play for the Giants right now and say, hey, if you want to stick around, it makes it a very easy conversation to have.
And especially a boy like Quincy, because he's now in his early 30s. He's done his yards. He's been around. He's played where he wanted to play. He loves Australia, as you said. He's full tilt into his golf at the moment, so no doubt he's probably at the Bay or at Grange, or he's playing on a beautiful golf course.
The other one,
thinking, well, why am I going anywhere, Eric?
The other one that you can look at too is, do you say, hey, do we maybe need to find another pitcher? If you look, maybe Mitch Neuenborn, you just don't know what's going to happen there. He's obviously having a tremendous season in the ABL. If he gets selected for the World Baseball Classic, then he wouldn't be available for a West Torrens final run. And Mitch Neuenborn's of the talent, of the velocity, of the age that you never know. He could get picked up by somebody in the States. So then all of a sudden you're at risk of losing one of your best arms. Now, nobody's going to be upset at that at West Torrens, because those are all great things to happen to a guy that they've been a big part of the journey. So then do you have to, West Torrens have a few options to kind of look down and some decisions they'll have to make.
Yeah, so true. I keep forgetting about the World Baseball Classic, because I keep thinking Mitch is going to go back to them and be such a power arm for them. But you're dead right. I mean, you'd have to say he's a 94% chance to make the World Baseball Classic. And
I mean, we're definitely biased, but I would think so too. Like, I would put him on my team. If you were to list out the Team Australia's Phil Acosta up to bat, if you were to list out Team Australia, you'd have Mitch Neuenborn, or I would, at least on my team.
Oh, look, I try to stay unbiased. I'm just watching him and just seeing an absolute class act. I cannot, you could not fault him at the moment, Eric.
I think what launched him too is how he went when he was in Japan, playing for Team Australia versus Samurai Japan, and he comes in for that amazing inning of work on that first game of the double dip. He was fantastic. He gets the side down in order. He struck out some pretty heavy hitters. Koki Yanazawa takes a pitch that goes right off of Weber, but Acosta not ready to jump on it. So it's up 6-0, looking for the knockout blow. Koki Yanazawa 3 for 3. Single to center, single to right, and a single to the second base, right up the middle, on a great diving stop from Jacob Scott in his last at-bat.
Yeah, he's been absolutely on fire tonight, Koki, playing good shortstop and doing a wonderful job for his team.
And he's another one that's probably benefited from some of the higher performance programs going around in baseball, SA.
Yeah, and you know these guys' work ethic. I don't, want to even talk about, his origins, etc. But they're just so dedicated. And both Koki and
Kosei,
just they're into it. They love it, and they're disciplined, and they're determined, and they're polite, and they're workhorses. And yep, absolutely correct, Eric. That's a good pitch, beautifully located in there. Just tied him up, didn't allow him to release. So a good moment here, 2-2 with a pretty good hitter. He seems to be sitting on the plate, Eric.
So fouls that away. Yeah, he's crowding it. It's a 3 for 3 in the game, and to speak volumes about how Koki Yanazawa has progressed as a player. Obviously, he had 341 last season, and this year he's off to another great start. If you're playing well enough to displace Jack Partington or allow Pardo to move to another role outside of the leadoff spot, you have to be playing some damn good baseball.
Oh, totally.
That right inside on Koki, it slips by, takes a nice hop. Weber scooped it up, but now Phil Acosta's in scoring position. 8 walks now in the game, by the way, for West Torrens.
Yeah, probably been the difference, right? Obviously, hard to go past Jack being the real difference, but 8 walks. So because you put pressure on, you've got runners, it has an effect. It gets the pitcher out of a wind-up, puts him in the stretch, whether he likes working with runners or not, and then it puts pressure on him to get to the ball, to the catcher as quickly as he possibly can. So it completely changes the mindset of a pitcher, and we've seen it in all grades, everywhere, that some like it more than others. He's got a decent piece of that. It's gone opposite field, and that is over. Koki Yanazawa, wowee.
4 for 4, and now he's got a home run and a couple RBIs to his name. How on earth do you make a decision of who gets 3 votes tonight if you are the umpiring crew today? But Koki Yanazawa entered the game already on a bit of a heater. He'd been hitting 290. He'd been slugging 324. That's his first home run of the season. And Koki Yanazawa, yeah, 4 for 4, homer and 3 singles.
Yeah, I'm still a bit miffed that you told me that he hit 341 last year. I mean, that's a fantastic year for a youngster. I mean, Koki would still, you know, be 19 barely.
Yeah.
You know, he's only a boy. And again, you know, okay, that wind tunnel's out to left field tonight, but
Gotta hit it.
You got to hit it all right. And that pitch was a little down, and he just with some beautiful extension, and we heard it just off the bat being so close here that he certainly barreled it.
Cowboy Jack Partington steps in. He's already got 2 home runs. He had that home run on the first pitch he saw in the first inning off Vanderlyn. That made it 2-0. A home run in the third. That made it 4-0. And again, it was off of singles from Koki Yanazawa. A double in the fourth.
Oh, ripped down the line, the right field line. That's in. With his speed, he's going to mount a charge to 2. Oh, a beautiful throw, and he's out. That is one hell of a play out there at right field. Wow.
Nico Vanderlinden.
Wow.
That had to be thrown quickly, had to be thrown on a line, and it had to be perfect.
And so it was, Eric. He unleashed. He got the beautiful skip.
Was that no look? Did he just turn and fire? Look at this.
Well, he knew Jack would be going because he's renowned for his wheels. He barely stopped, but look where this ball bounced and just straight to his brother.
Nathan didn't have to work.
Wow.
But take a look at this. The ball comes to him. Oh, my goodness. Look at the angle that's on as well.
Exactly.
But he just scoops, turns,
and fires.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff.
That is tagging down one of the best base runners in the competition.
Oh, totally. Jack's as quick as a wink, so beautiful stuff.
On a night where Henley and Grange have been completely in control and not much has gone wrong, that went right for West Torrens. That was a fantastic play. That was a good baseball play.
Great baseball.
Good hit. Nice defensive play to take that off the bag.
Yeah, and you know, you just go all the way to second base to Nathan, and you got a ball that skipped to him, and sure, it was a beautiful skip, but lovely receive and glove straight down to the front of that bag, and gotcha.
Finals in around the Diamonds. Golden Grove Central Districts, it is a final. They've beat Northern Districts 4-0, and Woodville continue their pace at the top of the table. They win by a score of 10-3 over Port Adelaide. Those are the first 2 finals that are in the 6 games of action here on some Tuesday twilights. It's supposed to be Christmas in Australia. It feels more like Christmas in Canada. It's chilly outside.
I tell you what, and as we know, as soon as that sun goes down, temperature just seems to drop by 10 degrees. It's just phenomenal. But
Landon Hernandez has to duck out of the way.
Straight over his head. And the boys on the left side of the diamond are happy here because I saw them with that sun dropping that was right in their eyes. So now no hindrance. It's a good pitch.
Yeah,
and again,
so Ryan Broom on the mound right now. He's pitched just 1 inning this season, and he's allowed just the 1 hit. He kind of comes in mop-up duty, to be totally honest. Saves out some of the runs. He pitches in Division 2 a little bit, but he started the game over at third. Had a nice double play earlier. Hernandez flares it foul.
he did, and I apologise to family and viewers of the Eagles that I think I called him Snellgrove before, so they look similar. But it is Big Broomy up there and doing a damn fine job.
Southern Districts have got one back to Sturt. It's 5-2 now, but it's in the 7th, so South's running out of time. Good pitch. It just cut back in, and Landon Hernandez is down on strikes for the 2nd time today.
Well, you won't see that too often. But again, it just goes to show that is definitely, you know, doesn't matter whether you're right or left, that pitch that's sort of thrown at you a little bit and cuts back in across that plate. There ain't too many hitters.
That just buckled him.
Yep, not too many.
Liam Bull, 2 walks on the day. He's also struck out.
Sporting a nice little mo. Bully.
He is. Last year was the long locks. Bully got that opportunity in the ABL exhibition season last year. Had some talks with the coaches after, a few things to work on, and he said the thing he worked most hard on was his defense, and that came to play with a couple nice plays at the ABL level. And he's gonna crack one to a gap in right field. Scooped up again by Vanderlyn, and he's gonna try to gun him down again. It won't be in time. Liam Bull with a double. He's on base for the 3rd time today.
Yeah, lovely crack.
Opposite.
Center right. So many runs to be had out there. I talk to all of my kids about trying to stay back and let the ball travel and make centre right your focus. When you're really on, you'll pull the ball naturally, but that was a beautiful piece of hitting by Liam. And just to elaborate a little bit more, as a junior, Liam had quite a funky throwing action. Powerful athlete, brilliant player, but it sort of was potentially sort of going to restrict him as he moves on. So he's done a lot of work on his arm slot, and again, to see, just back to those couple of plays, to see him on the run and be able to flip from down low and that sort of thing, just goes to show how much he has worked at his defense and his arm slot.
And there's still some work to do, as there always is. And you know, I know Dom mentioned Liam Spence, but it's a big difference. You have a 24-year-old Liam Spence who got to spend 4 years at college, 2 of them with Tennessee, and then plays with the Chicago Cubs, playing 100 games a year every day as a professional baseball player. There's a lot of work you have to do to get up to that standard.
So true. And you know, nothing should be given you, and no one at this level wants to be given anything.
That ball slips away. It takes a funny one. Weber was looking for it. Giovanni Garbella has scored, and it is a 9-0 game as Liam Bull moves over to 3rd as well. Liam Bull, though, it was a cool moment. I know this one probably would have been cool for you, Spurlo, given your connection in the charter program as well, but I loved seeing that on the first road trip of the year, making their ABL debut together on the same day in the same game as roommates on that road trip was Riley Yateman and Liam Bull making that debut together.
Yeah, how good, hey? And that's, again, from all
Pirates.
The Pirates. Well, if we had Riley in that Pirates team, he opted to go as a 3rd-year youngster, or like a very underage player with a under-17 Australian team or something like that. That was his opt, and hey, you know, you provided the opportunity to play for Australia, you're not going to say no. But we were probably an arm short in that tournament, and Riley would have been a big part of it. But don't matter. He's sitting there as a signed professional with the Detroit,
So, by the way, 10 walks now for the that West Torrens have issued today. There's just been a lot of base on balls today. 11 for the season.
Yes, and I don't think any of us came here today thinking that we were going to see a 9-0 scoreline. Thought we were both thinking that this was going to be a really good game of baseball.
And with that walk right there, in this game alone, West Torrens have walked as many batters as Henley and Grange have in the season.
Yeah. Yep. And that's probably why at the moment, Eric, they're sort of sitting around that 5-6 mark and probably expecting to be up in the 1-2-3s, but yeah, not to be. They're it's a pretty simple game at the end of the day. You've got to pitch the ball well, and
now a real chance to kind of end it right here. Lockie Burrows up to bat. He's got a couple hits on the season. He has struck out a few times tonight. We're working against Ryan Broom. Bases loaded. And It's 9-0 right now. They've outscored West Torrens 24-5 in their 2 games that they've played this season. I think Henley's trying to make a little bit of a statement. Just a lot of pressure on the pitcher right here. Bases loaded, couple walks in a row.
Yeah, it sure is. You know, hard enough for, you know, a real top-notch pitcher, and it's, again, nothing against Ryan. He's in here to do a job for his team and doing a good job, but yeah, 3-1 count, loaded deuces.
Lockie Burrows. Henley Grange stalwart. Up the middle, Broom takes it in, clutches, makes the play, and that will end the threat. But a 9-0 game. We've hit the 8:06 mark, but it is all Henley Grange in this game. They add another 3 in that inning. They've used the long ball today. Yonezawa had a home run, 2 home runs from Jack Partington, and then that, obviously, that RBI for the 26th of the year from Giovanni Garbella. It has been all Henley Grange Rams, and it's been early and often. And they've called the game. We've got our 2-hour mark. We've played 6. It's a 9-run lead, and that was pretty one-sided, to be honest, Burrows.
Yes, it was. It was, Eric, as we both sort of discussed and had a lot of excitement prior to the game, thinking this was going to be a real cracking matchup. And it just didn't quite work out that way. Again, just early runs off a couple of long balls from Pardo, and it just set the tone, and Landon rode on the back of it, and they were just way too good today, the Henley Grange Rams.
You still sort of feel like these teams have to go through each other to get to, you know, the grand final, the big dance this year, or even play each other in it at one point.
Yeah, they will, and you know, the beauty of this competition, and especially 2 teams like Henley Grange and West Torrens, it doesn't necessarily, like we'll look back on this in a month or two's time and think how dominant Henley were at this particular moment, but get to February next year, and it's a whole different ball game, and no matter what, the longer that this goes for Henley with regards to not at least getting in the big dance, you know, it mounts pressure, puts a lot of pressure on. So
there are 3 teams now in the South Australian Baseball League, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies, that have separated themselves from the pack. They are Sturt, they are Woodville, and Henley Grange, all with 1 loss. And then there are a bunch of teams between 4th and 12th right now, all in the mix. And West Torrens, who haven't really been in a dogfight at this point of the season, they've raced ahead. They have to approach this season a little differently because they are in the throngs of a finals fight.
yeah, you're not wrong, and I think your point earlier with regards to having that little up their sleeve to look for an import, but you know, it's not an easy time to import because it's sort of out of season in a lot of places and etc. So, you know, it's going to be really intriguing to see how their network spreads, to see if they can find that link that they need right at the moment. They need it.
That will do it for us here at Henley Grange. Big thank you to all the Henley Grange sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Get down to the Ramsgate, have a beer, and support them. Lynx Hotel, MC Sports, Beach Hotel, the Yale Edge Group doing a great job. Big thanks to our Spacequake Sports camera crew for coming out here, and producer Brandon for putting on the show, and Spurlow. It was excellent. Thanks for. I mean, we kind of found out about good last minute broadcast, and we got the team together.
We got it done, Eric. We've sort of, our heads have been together for a long time back at Nord with the early bite and all that sort of thing. And I got to say, it was a real pleasure.
We'll have to get you down to West Beach. Calling
it with you. It really was. So yeah, a pleasure. And thanks to Brandon and the team for another wonderful job.
Thanks for tuning in. Rams win this one 9-0 quite easily.